welcome to the Crossway Youth Podcast. Good to be speaking to you. Or
we never wave.
we do now though.
I'm just trying to like not be left out of this. I don't know what's going on. I know
Sarah
what's going
saw
on.
Lachie wave and was like, "Wait, is that what we're supposed to do?"
Yeah.
That was your initiation.
It's like
was
a bit of
Lachie
like,
waving
you
just
can
then?
see like my thinking. Should I?
Commit.
Yeah.
I'm Sam, and Lachie's over there.
Hey.
And we are honoured to be joined by Sarah today, Lachie.
It is an absolute privilege and an honour to have Sarah here. It's true.
Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Is this your first podcast ever?
Not only is this my first podcast, well, being in a podcast ever, it's also the first time I'm like witnessing the CY podcast.
Oh, true.
Yeah, like I see the reels, but I've never like, sorry.
Whoa, hang on. You say you've never listened or watched to one of our episodes?
You mean that like megalomaniacs like Lachie and I, you don't listen back to yourself in the car whilst you drive all
In
the time?
my defense, I have edited some of them. But on that note, sometimes I will send, like my podcast experience expands only as far as like sending so many voice memos to friends to try and like explain a story. And then I do listen back to them. And I think, wow, I'm so good at explaining things.
Well, that's basically...
So you have your own podcast?
Yeah.
It's just
a
in Facebook
subscriber
Messenger.
only, like it's private. It's a private subscription.
All right, for our viewers, how can we subscribe to it?
You have to have known me for more than 25 years.
It's like when job applications ask for like 6 years
Yeah.
experience in a field when you're like a graduate.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yep.
So you are a voice memo person in life as well?
Yes.
Over a long texter, you're here's 2 minutes of me talking
I
at
like doing it. I
don't like receiving it.
I
So
don't
you're
have
like,
time.
subscribe to my podcast, but you better type it out. Better transcribe it.
Even
for me.
sometimes transcriptions are,
Too much?
because I think like at that point, I'm always like, think of the most efficient medium to deliver information to me and take that route. Like just call me on the phone or just let's hang out. Or you know what? Don't even bother.
I don't like
Tell
you
me
that
later.
much. It's
It
not that
probably
important.
is, but no, I'll listen to all of them.
Yeah.
But I am just like sitting there and I have to sometimes go back and listen to them because I
You
just
forgot
forget.
what they said.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard.
What about you? Are you a voice memo person?
I'm not.
You're the opposite of a voice memo person, I reckon.
But I'm also not send one big slab of message. I'm send a massive slab of message 4 words at a time. Like, I'll be like, hey, Sam, enter. Can I tell you something? Enter. So basically yesterday, enter. What I did was enter. Like that
if
is
you've
that
ever
is
had
me.
an interaction with Lachie, it's just stressful to look at your phone and how fast the bubbles pop
yeah.
up one after another.
It's like you see the first message come up and then you turn away and then you look back and it's like 46 messages.
I
from
use the
Lachie.
send
Each with
button
4
as a space
characters
bar.
in each one.
The story's not even over at that point.
My space bar doesn't work. It's just the send.
Oh my gosh, yeah, fair enough.
It's maybe not a 2024 goal. One of my 2024 goals that I've articulated in a couple of environments was to call more and text less, like Boomer. But maybe doing that is just voice memo more and text less, and don't actually, because voice memo is almost a phone call. Like it's so close to being an actual phone call.
It's voicemail.
It's
like
a
literally, yeah.
It's a non-urgent phone call
Yeah.
because the other person doesn't need to pick up. You can have a phone call with them and they just get to listen to it whenever they want.
That's such an evolutionary way to look at it. Like
That's like a really
whenever you
optimistic
want phone
view of
call.
it, whereas Sarah's like, I'm lazy and I'm going to talk into my phone. But it is a nice way to look at it.
yeah. Sometimes I'll never do like speech dictation, but I've thought about it before. My mum often her phone like just I don't know because she's I don't know what's going on, like. But every now and then it will like take her speech dictation and send a full on text to someone, and we'll look back and read it, and it's like nothing makes any sense at all. But we just think like how. You look at it and it's like, how did that happen? Where were you, mum?
Like there's no space bars at all.
No,
in
it's like
an entire,
quiet.
yeah.
It's like eloquent, but it's so like
Meaningless.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's And it makes so we go back and we try to decipher like where was she at the time? Why was she talking about this? Like why is this person a part of this?
She's not intending to send it.
No,
it just goes off.
That's what I mean. Like she'll accidentally hit the button. And
It's
so
like
that's why I'm like I don't know how
dialing
she.
someone, but with voice memos.
Yeah, but speech dictation.
And you get part of her random conversation. You're like, what were you talking about? Well, yeah. So voice memos, big yay, I think, except for you, big nay, Lachie.
Yep.
Today, our episode is called Things That We Like. And we've got a couple more episodes left in 2023 before we take a break and then come back with season 2 in 2024. All the more strong. So things we like, I sent you guys just some categories of things and we're going to draft them and we're going to talk about why we like the things in each of those categories.
Good.
And the first round, and feel free to interact with us and tell us that we are jokers and have picked the wrong things, or feel free to compliment our picks. I think there'll be a lot of
Or
complimenting
just
picks.
send in your favorite thing in the category as well.
Yeah.
First category is foreign words that are used in English. So words that have originated from a different language that we use regularly, or terms of, like I've extended this to turns of phrase. So if it's like more than a single word, I think that's okay.
Good,
But
because 2 of mine are more than a single
good.
word.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to go in a line.
Overachiever.
Yeah.
You guys both, I feel like, have a competitive advantage over me in this because you, Lachie, actually speak French, and you, Sarah, spent a lot of time on Duolingo to learn Spanish, right? Before you went away?
So close.
Italian.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, better. Do you feel confident going into this category?
I think so, but I wish that I did sit and sort of contemplate going like really obscure
Sure.
avenue with a lot of my favorite things, but I think I've got quite safe. Like I think people will be like, yeah, that's a good word.
You've gone people's choice with this.
Yes.
Like popular view.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll
Well,
see.
but
I
yeah.
guess we'll see. We'll find out,
You'll
won't
find
we?
out, won't you? Yeah.
I have an interesting relationship with this category in
Okay.
that the idea of using foreign words in English is like kind of fake to me, because most words that are in English have come from another language anyway, because English isn't like a very root language. It's,
Fair call.
very like,
You did not think
Germanic
you were coming
origins.
for an etymology lesson
And it's like-
today, but you are.
and it's like, it's one of those things. So you guys know when was it 2020? What was one of the yeet or whatever made it like into the dictionary? It was something like that. One of those types of words.
Right.
And everybody was like, "Oh, it's not a word. It's like not an English word, or it's not a word. Why is it in the dictionary?" And it's like, but if it is a collection of sounds that people use to convey meaning, then it's a word.
Yeah.
And if people use it in the language that we're speaking, then it's a word in that language. So I'm also like, using foreign words in English, doesn't that just make them part of the English language?
So is this your way of saying that some of your votes are just going to be like noises and you're like, no, that's a word?
I am the people group who were like, that's not a word. I literally had a conversation this morning complaining about the word ginormous. Because it's like enormous or gigantic. But now ginormous is a word.
Yeah, and that's a word.
No,
Is that the hill that you're going to die on? That
should
ginormous
say-
is not a
Are we
word?
going to start saying gigantic?
If you
I am now that you said that.
if you say to someone, "What does ginormous mean?" they will tell you the definition.
And they will earn a thumbs down from me in their
But that
face.
means that it's a word.
Mm,
Because it is a collection of sounds
It
used
is
to
a
convey
hill up.
You
particular
guys are
meaning.
being gigantically rude to each other at the moment. So let's actually start the category. I'm going to give Sarah the first pick
okay.
in this round. So Sarah, please tell us your favorite foreign word or phrase that is used in the English language, and then also why. Feel free to give some background.
Yeah, I would love to actually, because
Yeah.
the first one I have chosen is the word taboo.
Okay.
And
Whoa.
I'm going to boldly assume that a lot of people won't know the etymology of the word taboo. The reason it's one of my favorites
Me.
is because taboo actually comes from Tongan language. And for those of you who don't know, I do have Tongan heritage, very proud to be Tongan. And so Captain James Cook introduced the word to English, who knows when, back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Probably before the game Taboo was invented.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's actually a really good point. Maybe if anyone has the game Taboo, open it up right now and read all of the instructions in the fine print to see if they have
mentioned Captain James Cook.
I think it was,
mentioned Tonga.
Yeah, it's so true.
I think it was before 2008.
Taboo existed.
The word existed pre
2008.
Okay.
That's a really fair call.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to argue with that one. But yes, the word taboo comes from TABU and means like forbidden, basically.
Wow.
And so how crazy that it now is like a whole entire board game.
So true.
They made a whole board game out of this word. It's crazy.
So go off Tonga.
Pop
Taboo.
off. Taboo is off the board. Sorry, Lachie, if that was going to be your pick, but you are next with the second pick.
That's right.
This had better be French, by the way.
It is.
Okay, good.
It is cul-de-sac.
Oh wow.
Okay,
That's a fair.
that's fun.
Yeah.
So,
Why?
often, it just sounds cool.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny because it means like bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
Which,
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sack. That's fair.
Cul-de-sac.
Sack and bag, yeah.
Bottom of the sack.
Yeah. Interchangeable. As we said, words are collections of sounds that convey meaning, so it doesn't matter.
Beating me at my own game right now. Yeah.
Watch me just make a
I'm being
noise
humble.
and try and justify you to the word next.
I don't know. It just sounds. It's nice to say cul-de-sac, cul-de-sac. You know,
Yeah.
it's fun to say.
Have you ever lived in a cul-de-sac?
I have not.
Have you ever been to a cul-de-sac?
Yep. I have my tote bag over here. I
There
had to
you
get
go.
my keys out of it before. Bottom of the bag.
Love
If
it.
you were looking to buy a house and one of the houses was not on a cul-de-sac and the other one was, but they were basically identical, would the fact that one is on a cul-de-sac be a,
Probably.
like, would you buy that house?
I think the reduced amount of traffic is a big incentive.
That's a fair call.
Yep.
I like it.
Okay.
Thank you.
My pick, I exclusively went with just sounds fun to say.
Okay.
That was the only
I like that.
Great. Yep.
all my decision making. And I've got a list here, and I think I'm just going to go with al dente
That's a
Yeah,
good
nice.
as a turn of phrase because it is mostly used for pasta. Now, maybe you can tell me. I actually don't know what this means. Like the actual, I think I don't know what it translates to. Al dente. I know that it's like
Can I look it up?
you can look
one.
it
I
up.
think it means.
Because I know what al means. I don't know what dente means.
I think I know what it means.
Is it something like perfect or something?
I think
or
it's to the
No.
tooth.
to the tooth?
I think it means to the tooth.
That would make sense.
Because
okay.
I think the idea is when they use it with pasta, it's like you want it to be slightly resistant to bite.
Hey, that's correct.
Thank you.
Tooth. Dente means tooth.
So that
Wow.
makes sense because it is used in the context of the perfect amount of time to cook pasta, but it's sort of been adopted as like another word for like perfect or very
Just
good,
good.
or very nice, which I
Incredible.
I love using it for non-pasta related descriptors.
Your outfit is al dente.
Al dente. That sermon, al dente.
To the tooth.
Yeah. To the tooth sounds,
Maybe it doesn't work
to the
in
tooth
English
sounds
very well.
less
The
nice.
translation doesn't really carry through.
So
Yeah,
al
so true.
dente is off the board. We're going to go 2 picks each in this round.
Yep.
Okay,
And
And I'll narrow
then
it
see where
down.
we go here. So you have started with taboo. I like the idea of us having to like try and use both of our picks in like a sentence together afterwards or something, and just be like, who has the
Wow.
best
Yeah.
sentence or
Oh,
something.
okay. Then
We
that
don't
makes
have
this
to,
next choice
but I'm
quite
just like-
difficult potentially.
I can immediately, yeah.
Because all
Oh,
of
you're
yours are
already
French.
going to win now?
Great
Okay.
fit.
And
Great
the whole
fit.
sentence is going to be French as well, isn't it?
Sarah with the next pick.
Okay. I am going to choose. This is hard because I quite liked what I chose, but I'm going to choose something that is not often actually said at all. But I'll tell you why I like it.
All right.
It's alma mater, which is
Yeah, that's
Latin
good.
for like the place that you studied, basically. And so like it's just crazy to say. Like I would never ever say this, but like my alma mater is Swinburne. But this makes it sound like it's so cool.
It's a very American
You
thing,
know,
isn't it?
I think
alma mater.
so.
I think they always refer to
They
their
love
colleges
their
as
Latin.
the alma mater.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
Like the Ivy League ones.
Yeah, exactly. But if I say like my alma mater is Swinburne, then it like kind of sounds like it's Ivy League, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah. It's like a bougie
Yeah.
thing.
It's kind of
Also, it's spelled alma mater, and I always think of
Mater.
from Cars.
Yeah, you
with
do.
the 2
Alma
teeth coming
mater.
out of his bonnet. Yeah, so some like.
I love that. I love that.
Do you want to know what it means in Latin?
Tell me.
approximates to other like of good nourishment or generous mother.
Swinburne, be a generous mother.
The idea that's where you got
that
a lot
where
of
it comes
your
from?
like, you know,
Wow.
like you received a lot of things in your growth.
This guy,
So your college is like a mum that
Yep.
feeds you
Oh, it's
thirds and fourths and
you
fifths
know
at
a
dinner.
lot about
Yeah.
words.
accidentally.
Words guy. He's a words guy.
man. Etymologist.
Did you
Etymology is the word
Yeah,
for
etymology
it,
is
isn't
the
it?
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are two different ends of the spectrum.
So whilst Lockie's going, you can think of a fun sentence if you want that involves
I'll
taboo
try.
and alma mater.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Lockie,
mm.
go for your second
All right.
pick.
So my next one is en masse,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
which is also French, but it's fun. I think this one I picked because the way that is they would say in English en masse as in ONMASS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas the actual phrase is en masse, which is ENMASSE,
Yeah.
which is the
Yep.
French. And I thought it was just so interesting that this is one where, like a lot of the other phrases and stuff, you can't really translate or change to an English word with the same sounds. Whereas this one is like
yeah.
the English words with the same sounds means the same thing as the French word with the same sounds.
Wow. Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting and fun.
I like that.
And I like to like translate it whenever someone says en masse to the ENMASSE
Yeah, make it
in my
correct.
head.
Yep.
It's like even if they meant the English
Yeah.
spelling, I change it in my head.
That's a fair thing to do.
Yep.
Respect.
Okay. I have so many to pick from. I'm just going to tell you what were some of my I'm not going to pick them.
Oh, your honourable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Quid pro quo is a fun
Wow.
thing. Yeah, I do like that.
Bang
a
on
good
with
one.
that. That's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
I can't believe you didn't pick that.
No,
I'm
because the
excited to
next
see what
one's
the next
even
thing
better.
is.
And what I'm actually going to pick, and I don't actually know what it means. I just have heard it said a lot, and I think it's fun. Tete-a-tete. You know, like tete-a-tete,
I think that's like
tete-a-tete, rat-a-tat, tete-a-tete. I've heard it said so. I'm not doing it justice. I've heard it said a lot of times before, but it's very fun to say. TET-A-TET. I can Google it whilst we continue to
it's
keep
like
on going, but it's
Yeah.
like,
head to head
yeah, maybe
Oh.
that is it.
in French.
Yeah. So it's like if you're versing someone
Yeah.
in a match.
Yeah.
Tete-a-tete.
It's like how we say, like, yeah, head to head.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually
I've
curious.
never heard that before.
Well, I've heard
Tete-a-tete.
head to head, but not tete a tete.
Well, no, you have.
I'm actually
Yeah, I have
curious
now,
to
yeah.
see if tete-a-tete originates from the English phrase head to head.
Which way around it is? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Lockie loves this category so much.
Wow.
It's giving an opportunity
Yeah,
to research
this
words.
is good. That's
You
that
do this
nourishment.
just in your
you
sphere.
are
Exactly. I am
his
your
alma mater
al-
right now, nourishing his growth.
I'm giving you some al dente alma mater.
That hey, taboo.
Okay, interesting is that interestingly
Didn't.
in
Hey, it worked in the end. Hey. I used all the words. Go on, Lockie.
interestingly,
You win. If that was your sentence, that was
Yeah, done.
let me know when I can start speaking.
You can speak. Go on.
Interestingly, it says in French they use it not as a head-to-head for fighting, but as in a your heads are close together for a private conversation.
Ooh, curious.
Mm.
Is there an English equivalent? Secret. Not really,
No.
because that doesn't
DNM.
really imply.
DNM. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, that's good.
But
No, as in, no, that's the English equivalent. I'm not shushing
Sarah's
you.
like, I did something
That's
wrong.
the English equivalent. It's just,
oh yeah.
what a power move if I just shushed you mid-podcast.
Every now, for those of you who don't know, every now and then, because we obviously work together, we walk around in the office. Sometimes I'll see Sam from a distance, and he'll just go, "Nope, nope."
You cannot be here.
We're like, I'm
Yeah.
not even going to go say anything. Nope. And anything I was going to say, no.
It's become a bit of a thing, and then just like occasionally mid-conversation, one of us will just like walk away from each other and not
Yeah,
say anything. It's
'cause
a bit
we
of like a
talk-
power move. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably happen at the end of this. I
Mid-podcast.
imagine. Like,
Halfway
that's
through,
probably.
Sarah's
Okay,
just
that's
going to
enough.
stand up and
Is that
like,
enough? That's
I'm
enough.
done.
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah.
Thank you. I think Sarah wins that one, mostly because of the way that she seamlessly said all the words. I really appreciated that. So.
You didn't even give us me or you an option to have our
Oh,
sentences.
sorry. You can have a sentence
Go
if you
on,
want, but I know
'cause you
that
had
I'm
a
not going to
sentence
beat that.
prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me, alongside with all of my other neighbours gathered en masse at the end of the cul-de-sac.
I
For
do
the
like
barbecue
that.
party.
Applause.
Cue applause
Do you have
sound
applause?
effects.
We do. I don't know which one it is on
Oh.
there.
Let's
and
try
we
this
record
one.
we record other sound effects. Oh, it is that one.
Let's go.
Holy moly. Sam, you're insane.
That's incredible.
Maybe you're tied first. I don't know. I didn't even have one. I haven't thought
Yeah,
well
no.
of a sentence.
How about we
here.
just say that you came last?
I
and
did.
Then
I'm happy
So
for
was
that.
Ambiguous
tete-a-tete your
top.
second?
Yeah, tete-a-tete and al dente.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Before quid pro quo.
yeah, I would have gone
Wow.
with quid pro quo.
No, I like tete-a-tete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's your word.
It is my
Good
word,
for you.
and it's my sentence. Thank you. Next thing we like. Feel free to join in again. Is kinds of soup. We're going to talk about different kinds of soup. Do you like soup just in general?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Lachie?
Depends.
Can I ask you just a philosophical question about soup? When is something a soup and when is it a drink?
Oh, okay.
So if you have hot liquid, when are you drinking a soup and when are you souping a drink? Because I had this thought as I was preparing types of soup, because you would call something a soup because it's in a bowl and you eat it with a spoon.
yeah,
That's a question, if that you
Yeah,
guys
like,
agree with that or not.
it's not wrong.
So then if you eat hot chocolate from a bowl with a spoon, is it soup?
chocolate soup?
That's
And
a
then
really
by the same token, if you have tomato hot liquid in a mug and you drink it without a spoon, is it soup?
Well, oh wow, this is a philosophical
I told you this was
question.
deep. Yeah. And then eventually we can talk about why we like different types of
Well,
soup. But what do you reckon?
with the tomato thing, when I was in Italy recently, I had like booked breakfast at one of the hotels and they had all like an array of juices.
Tomato juice?
Big juice gal. And I thought that it was like, so the previous hotel I'd been to had like vitamin juice, like the really rich orange color.
Mm.
And then I was at this next hotel and I was like, bet that's vitamin juice. Tomato juice.
Oh, no.
Not, and I took a big swig.
I don't understand tomato juice.
It was not
That
great.
sounds
And I was like,
horrible
is
to
this
me.
what no disrespect, but is this what the Italians are putting themselves through?
Do they like this?
Are they okay?
I've seen it sold here in Australia as well. And
but-
people willingly drink it. I've been to
Yeah,
people's
but like
houses
people
where they
will
have it in
use
their
it for like
fridge.
alcoholic beverages sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen
True.
people
You know,
drink
so
it
like
straight
I
as
can
well.
understand that, but well, not really, because that's also disgusting.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like the tomato juice is a juice when it's in a cup, but then you heat it up and put it in a bowl. It's a soup. So, and then I'm also thinking about milk right now, because if you have milk in like a Milo, then it like is a drink. But you put milk in a cereal, it's not necessarily a soup, but you're still drinking the milk out of a bowl with a spoon.
So is cereal out of a bowl soup?
Is cereal a soup?
This is not a conversation I want to go back and have. I've already done a podcast on this.
Have you really?
Yeah.
So, but if you
Did you have a
had,
conclusion though?
Yeah, it's not a soup.
Okay.
so if you had
Well,
a
good to know.
bowl, if you had a
How easy is
bowl
that?
of cold tomato juice and you ate it with a spoon, and then you had a bowl right next to that bowl that's filled with tomato soup and it's hot and you eat it with a spoon, which one's soup and
Does
which
the
one's
bowl
juice?
have to be right next to it?
I just like
You
it to be.
have to go one spoon.
So you've already talked about this. What conclusion did you come to? When is it soup and when is it juice?
I think one of the key things that we decided was that the contents of the dish,
Mm-hmm.
to be clear about definitions, has to be cooked for it to be a soup. It has to be prepared or either like boiled on the stove, heated in a microwave. Like the ingredients have to be cooked.
Yeah, does
For
a
it to be a
kettle
soup.
count as cooking? Because you're cooking water in the kettle a little bit.
Cooking water.
Wait, is it just boiling pasta?
Cooking water.
Next time I ask someone to put the kettle on, I'm going to say, can you cook some water up?
This sounds like whatever conversation you had previously about soups and
Yep.
non-soups probably is
It's
worth.
incomplete.
It's like that's like a 3
soups-
podcast thing. Probably.
Yes.
Soups
Yeah.
and non-soups is great.
It was an incomplete conversation.
This is
Tea is now non-soup.
Yeah.
Coffee is non. I'm going to ask
Non-soup.
for a cup of non-soup.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, at like there's a cafe called the Ront where they serve a lot of coffee.
Yes.
Serve coffee. A lot of coffee places serve coffee in a bowl
Oh, it's just a very large mug.
with no handle.
Yeah. So you can hold it like this and
Yeah.
warm.
Yeah,
So you can hold it like this and warm your hands in the winter.
burn them more like it. Danger.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask here is if one of us says, for example, a bowl of cereal with cooked milk in it, is that possible?
Yeah.
If we have a bowl of Cocoa Pops with some boiling
let me
cooked
just
milk,
backspace on some of the things I've written.
with some boiling, I mean, you can say like whatever other type of soup, but is that you're now the soup czar as far as I'm concerned? Is that
Czar?
I don't know.
I think I'm going to allow it.
You're allowing cereal as long as the
Allow it.
milk is
As long as it's
bubbling.
Put it on the saucepan, boil the milk, pour the Cocoa Pops into the saucepan.
I remember, who was it? Do you guys remember the Weet-Bix ads? Like, how many do you do?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I think it was Tim Cahill would do that. He would put the Weet-Bix, he would put the milk on the stove in a saucepan, cook it up, put the Weet-Bix in,
Like
and
a
then
porridge
and
moment.
then pour it back into his bowl and drink it,
brother.
and eat it, and it's like hot.
We tackle the big questions here at the Crossway
Yeah.
podcast.
How many do you do?
And
Weet-Bix.
when is something soup and when is
I
it
do
drink?
30 of the mini ones.
There's no way you're counting them.
I have.
Have you done it before?
Because someone contested me and I said,
No.
they said, you can't do that. And I said,
Watch
yeah,
me.
I can. I said, watch me. I counted them.
You
to
said,
make sure.
I do.
How many do you do? I do 40 is what the post said.
So we're going to go through this now.
Yeah.
And for the sake of time, Lachie, you get the first pick
All
in
right.
soup.
Great. My favorite soup, and you have to you have to tell me if this is fake.
Sure.
It's like a minestrone.
Oh, no, that counts.
That's a soup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that surely counts.
I like soups that aren't just completely smooth.
You want a bit of
Bit
like,
of crunch.
I
Bit of,
want-
not even
or-
crunch,
I
just a
want
bit
like
of
texture. You know, I
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
able to, if I'm eating something, if I want it to feel like a meal, like you guys said, I don't want to be like just drinking. Like I don't
Yeah,
want it to
that's
just
it.
be liquid.
Consistency matters.
because then it's just a drink.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I'm having a meal, I want to feel like I'm having a meal.
Yeah.
And also, like, I enjoy meat. So that's a good one.
That's a quote
Minestrone
to
is
end all quotes. If I'm having a meal, I want to feel like I'm having a meal. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Keep
I
going
hate-
in
I
the
hate your
direction that we've been
impression of
going
me.
in. I am going to pick alphabet soup with my next pick.
Cute.
Thank you. Just for nostalgia reasons, I'm not sure if you guys had much alphabet soup when you were younger and enjoyed. Really, never.
Yeah, no, I've never had that.
Actually, never.
Actually, never.
Big alphabet fan.
Yeah. If I was patient enough and like not hungry enough, I would like try to like dig with my spoon under the soup to lift up the correct
yeah.
letters. Kind of like I was playing my own game of like Boggle with myself, but like lifting and rising the correct pasta letters to the top of the soup.
This
so I could
one
like
is going to be
spell.
an H. Oh,
My brother would sit next to me and I
wow.
would try and spell out like "you suck" or something in the soup and like
That
push
is
the bowl across to him and show it to
an
him.
actually a
Oh my
great one.
goodness. I like that.
Sarah, what's your soup of choice?
I have chosen bone broth first and foremost.
Okay.
Good.
Yep. I love a broth.
Yeah.
But there's a really good one there's like a cafe in Croydon. Blackwork.
Yeah.
Shout
Shouts out to
yeah.
Blackwork.
Because it was
Sponsor
so good. It was like the best bone broth I've ever had in my life. Yeah.
Do we have other picks? Do we want to do two picks
I
in this?
have another
okay.
pick.
All right. Okay. We can go through second pick then.
All right. My next pick, and this one may also be contested, but it has the word soup in its name. So I'm going to go for like you know, a dumpling like noodle soup,
Yeah, that was like one of my ones as well, ramen noodle soup. Yeah.
because even though the main part of the meal is probably I was going to say the physical things, everything's a physical thing. The more like, you know, the noodles and the dumplings,
Yeah.
it's still called a soup.
Yeah.
So I'm claiming
Yeah,
I think
that
it's okay.
counts. That
I had
counts.
laksa, but I feel like that's too
Laksa-
similar.
nice.
No. Laksa is different. That's fine.
Do you think
Oh,
it's
really?
different to I feel like it's basically the same thing. It's like an Asian flavored soup with other
Are
things
you
in it.
saying that all Asian soups are the same?
No, but I'm saying it's unfair for me to pick it because
Okay,
it's too
okay.
similar.
Laksa is actually a good call though.
Like
Yeah.
pho, I feel like is also in this. Like I
Yeah,
feel
okay.
like
Yeah.
I couldn't pick pho.
Yeah,
But
okay.
laksa is nice.
Interesting.
My only other one was tomato.
Just
so I'm just gonna
really?
pick
El
just
Clasico.
El Clasico, just from
Interesting.
a can.
I had
just
pumpkin though. That's classic.
pumpkin is Clasico than tomato. Some
You
might
reckon?
say.
I
Which one's
liked-
more Clasico?
Yeah.
Like
Ooh.
pumpkin or tomato?
I think you're really throwing me off with your pronunciation.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it any other way though. So
It's a word, guys.
Pumpkin.
It's a word.
Oh, tomato.
I think
No.
tomato.
Yeah, tomato.
Because tomato for me was always like Heinz canned tomato soup.
But I think it's also like about the simplicity and like like how easy it is or has been in the past for like so many families.
Yep.
No matter
It's true.
what your food, like
So
just
you
easy to
have
make
picked
tomato.
Asian noodle dumpling soup and your
Minestrone.
minestrone. I have picked tomato and alphabet.
Yep.
You have picked.
Bone and pumpkin.
I think I'm last again because mine could both theoretically be tomato flavored and they're not different enough from
Is
each
it
other.
alphabet soup just tomato soup
Yeah,
with
it is
alphabet
with
in
alphabets in it. So basically,
Surely that
two types
commitment,
of tomato.
that commitment.
I'm
gets you
committed to tomato.
Yeah.
What's your next pick? Baked beans?
Yes. I love baked beans, man. I'm from England.
That's a soup. That is a
baked
soup.
beans
Yeah.
a soup?
It's cooked liquid. Tell me it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. What do we think? Which between the two of you?
No, I vote your tomato.
Okay,
obsession.
all right, fine. I'll win.
Your tomato obsession.
The humility.
But I do not like tomato
I'm going to
juice.
give you sympathy points.
Yeah, I do not like
Yeah,
tomato
fair.
juice as well.
But if you heat it up and put it in a bowl,
That's disgusting.
it's a different story.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. Our third out of 4 categories. We're going to keep racing
Yeah,
through
yeah,
these.
let's
This
go.
one is things that you shout
Yeah.
/ yell / declare.
Can I make a request for this one?
Sure.
We don't say what it is. We put the mic down and shout it.
Okay.
Okay, but yes.
Okay.
Okay. But to counter that point, I agree.
I'm so sorry. I was just going to like bring up the fact that there's like other people around and so don't yell too loud.
No, don't yell too loud.
Okay.
I'm not sure about yours, but mine have some backstory or context to them as well. So it's like there's a bit of story to each of mine. It's not just like here's a thing. Right. So is it my first? You had the.
You
it's
go.
my
Yeah,
first.
you're first. You're
Okay.
first.
I think it's quite funny. So okay, this one is I found it on Reddit. I googled things to shout or yell, basically, and came up on across a Reddit page, and I thought this one was quite funny. It just says screaming at your pet, and now I'm going to scream. So you have a pet, and then you scream, "Get a job!" I just said, "Get a job," in case you didn't hear that. So if you have a dog or a cat, you just find
Yell,
it
"Get a
and
job."
you yell, "Get a job" at your pet. Because what are they really doing? They're like a bad roommate who sits around the house and doesn't really do anything. And you just take.
And they don't pay rent.
And they don't pay rent.
Yeah.
And yeah, get a job.
Get a job.
So next time your dog, like, I don't know, do you guys have pets
Exists.
that like, just like does something annoying? Or it's just like, hey man, get a job.
Get a job.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my first pick. Get a job.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, I'm going to need your help for this one.
Okay.
So we're all going to put our mics down a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, a bit away from us.
This is one of my favorite things. Ready? Hip hip.
Hooray!
Yeah.
There you go.
Hip hip hooray.
That's such a wholesome one compared to get a job.
I have really wholesome ones. I chose really wholesome ones.
Okay.
That's a good one though.
Okay.
I think that like the whole birthday song that's sung before it is a lot of people's like least favorite part of their birthday, but surely your spirits are pumped when you hear hip hip hooray.
Do you guys want to know a fun fact about hip hip hooray?
Oh no, how fun is it?
It's not going to be fun.
As soon
And
as
it's
I
going to be
say-
about the history
As
of it
soon
or
as I say
something.
fun fact, Sarah's like, oh no.
Well, okay, go on.
Doing hip hip hooray after the birthday song is an Australian thing. Other countries don't do it.
Oh,
This
medium
is a fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say like, you know how people say, okay.
It originates
really
from-
quickly, where my mind went was like, you know how people say all of the Disney princess stories actually come from like really gruesome
Yes.
folklore.
Like real, yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was like, hip hip hooray is like a cursed thing. Like it's come from this really awful heritage,
Yeah.
but
No, it's
yeah.
an
Very
Australian thing. Because I remember reading a
Fair
bunch of things
dinkum.
where people would like travel, like America and a lot of like the Asian countries and European countries, and they just stop at the end of the birthday song.
I've been in
so sad.
I've been in social settings where people will deliberately only do 2 hip hip hoorays and then
Yeah.
stop and then allow other people to awkwardly start the hip hip and then go, oh, not everyone's
So
singing it.
No, you have to take the power in that, the hip hip power.
I feel like in my circles, it's just that's done so often that now 2 hip hips is just the regular amount of hip hips.
No.
Have you never been
Step
in
up? Take ownership.
I will not because I think it's funny.
So I'm shouting at my pets. Sarah
Yeah.
is celebrating birthdays. What are you doing?
I'm just so similar to a celebration, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of F1, but there's just something about woo that is just like nice.
Yeah.
Why is that F1 specific?
That's often a common.
Yeah.
They
right.
win and they go woo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but with that energy
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I
That's
like
a
a
good one.
woo.
And it's just
That's cathartic
like
as well.
Yeah. It's just
It's
fun.
nice and short.
It's also nice because the context of you saying it means something's good has happened.
Yeah, fair.
So it means you're never
Context
saying
matters.
woo in like unless you're going woo, but that's not shouting it. So you're only ever shouting it when something really good's happened. So it's always
Yeah,
good vibes.
You're talking a real woo, not a sarcastic woo.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Woo.
What was that one?
Woo.
Oh, whoa.
You guys are making me really second guess. You guys are definitely glass half full people. I'm just shouting at my pets
Okay.
and going on Reddit. Okay, all right. Well, my last one actually has quite a lot of story attached to it
Okay.
as well. So I'm going to do a bit of a lead in here.
Sure.
One of the things that I saw on Reddit was basically there's a thread called "What's the funniest thing to yell out at people as you drive past them?"
Was it one of them get a job?
And was not that. One of them was I snort at people like a pig. Like wind down the window and
Yes.
start snorting at random strangers as they walk
You're driving past. I snort at people like a pig.
Yeah.
It's more just like wind down the window and as you're driving past a pedestrian, just like that sort of thing. And the reason I have story attached to it is I remember when I was a bit younger and my brother was also a bit younger and we would drive home from youth on a Friday night. Bear in mind, quite dark, quite late. Not many people are out on the streets.
Yeah.
If you are out on the streets, you're probably quite scared and want to get home to wherever you're walking to,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And my brother was making it as a thing that in his rebelliousness, he would often wind down the windows in the car as a passenger and start woofing at people in public, like outside of the moving car.
That seems like
like woofing and
not
barking.
normal behavior.
Just like woofing and barking at random strangers. And there's one particular time when we were driving home and there was someone who was walking out like just on like a quiet street, like not very well lit. And he just woofed and barked so loud at them, and they like threw their stuff in the air out of like jump scares.
Oh,
and, like,
no.
threw like a bag in the air, and I almost like turned around and made him go and like apologize to this person. But we were driving 80 down a main road, and I felt really bad. But when I was young,
That was
when
me.
when I was sweet, imagine it was full circle. Yeah. When I was younger and less mature, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like that would be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I'm going to pick it just for old time's sakes.
Yeah.
Barking like a dog.
Oh, go on. Give us one.
Like,
Yeah,
imagine that out of a moving car.
Oh, yeah. Scary.
Have you got
Very
anything
scary.
to say for your second pick?
Yeah, I do have one. This one is from. So I was told this story. I wasn't there, but like one of the Hillsong conferences, they were like debuting Good Grace, and
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't know the words. And so one thing that they said was like, if you don't know the words, all you need to do is scream out the name Jesus. And then they went, Jesus. And it was like such a cool story to hear. And so every time I sing that song, I just love yelling out Jesus. So that's my second one.
That's a really good pick.
It's so, and they did it at church recently. And it was like, it was just great. The room feels great.
Yeah.
I think people like doing that as well.
Yep. Love that song.
Yeah, it's a good do it with a room of people. It's
Yeah.
not just like you're in public shouting. It's like
Yeah.
there's lots of us doing it.
It's great in a group.
All right, my next one, not as wholesome.
Mhm.
It's not bad, but it's just not as wholesome. I don't know if this is maybe I think just because I have a slightly, a deeper voice, so it sounds better with that usually. But it's just whether at someone from across a room or just generally to make the room be quiet, if you need the room to be quiet. I've done this a few times. You just go, "Oi!"
That's such a good one.
And
I knew
there's-
someone was going to pick it.
Oh, that's so good.
And there's just some level of just urgency that it makes in you. When you hear that, you're like, "Whoa, I've got to be doing something and I don't know what." Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. That's a good one.
I don't know. I hope that came across well on the audio.
I definitely
I
heard
just
it.
yelled oi.
sounded
Yeah.
nice in my ears.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Sometimes my brother just texts me oi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing else?
Sometimes.
No follow-up text, just
Sometimes
the oi?
no follow-up. Oi. And it's usually like because he's tried to like invite me to like a chat party on PlayStation, and I'm watching Netflix, so it doesn't always come through
the notification,
and he just says me, "Oi."
Yeah, that's good. I think it's another good one because it just feels good in the mouth. It moves from like the front to the sides. Oi, you know.
It does. Everybody just then verified.
I feel like another etymology thing. I feel like the nicest words to like shout or say loudly or repeat are ones that only require like one movement in your mouth. So words that aren't going like back and forth in terms of where they're placed in your mouth.
Like yodeling.
Which kind?
Would you like to do that now?
Can you?
I'm just trying to. I was like, in my mind, I was like, oil. I was like, oh, it's kind of like yodeling. Yodel.
Sure. But anything that's got like smooth motion through the mouth, I feel like is really good to say
Yodeling
loudly.
is like you can relax your mouth quite a lot to yodel. You know, like just think about letting your jaw just sort of like like you're just letting your jaw just sort of hang, aren't you? At least for the yodel bit. Yeah.
Hee-hoo? Add that to my list. It's the hee-hoo of yodeling.
Just the hee-hoo.
Yeah.
I have also seen Sound of Music.
I've not seen Sound of Music.
We have... You have not seen Sound of Music?
Keep going.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Last one. We're just going to do... This is the last quick one.
Yep.
Favorite bodies of water. Favorite things that have water in them. I just like saying bodies of water mostly. That's why I wanted to pick this one. We're only going to do one each.
Great, because I only have one.
Running long. Great.
Yeah.
So you're going to go first because we're back to you for the first pick.
Bathtub.
You held the B in your mouth for so long. Just
I was getting ready.
Bathtub.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Is it not obvious?
You like to have baths?
The bath is... Yeah.
Yeah, I like to have baths as well.
Bomb, face mask, candle, music.
Yeah. Do you eat in the bath?
I have before, but like usually it's like chocolate.
Yeah.
Like I've had like Easter eggs, like, you know, like the...
Yep.
Or like just like something
I just had a gross
or like
thought.
sometimes I have like nuts and I just like
Are you having a bath in
things.
soup?
Because a bath is hot. It's a bath.
Soup.
I do spoon it out at the end when I'm finished.
Oh, that was so gross.
All right, move on.
Okay, Sarah has said bath.
Yeah.
Or bathtub.
Bathtub, the bathtub, the
So
body of
you
water in the
go
bathtub.
favorite body of water.
Mine probably has to be the Pacific Ocean.
I don't know why that's funny.
Gale.
Laughing at everything.
Gale.
Because there's so many fun facts about the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, give us
Like
one.
what?
Can I give you two?
Give us
It
two.
contains the deepest point on Earth.
Wow.
And also, there's a point in the Pacific Ocean where you are the furthest from all like civilization. So the point on Earth where you are the furthest from any civilization is there's some point in the Pacific Ocean. And the fun fact about it is at certain times of the time, like as in I forget how regularly it's the International Space Station. I forget how regularly that orbits Earth. But at certain points during the orbit of the International Space Station, if you are at that point in the Pacific Ocean, the closest people to you are the people in the International Space Station.
That is a fun fact.
You are closer to people in space than anyone else on Earth.
Wow. That's very cool.
So I mean, it's pretty big.
That's a very cool fun fact.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, thank you.
Bigger than a bathtub.
Certainly.
When I'm in the
But not
bathtub,
as fun as a bathtub.
I'm quite close.
Taboo
to
was made
civilization.
before 2008.
Yeah. Just bringing you the goods today.
I have picked Lake Taal, Taal.
Yeah.
We've gone three very different directions.
Which is, in the middle of this lake, there is an island.
Oh,
And then there is Lake Taal.
Yeah.
And that lake is on an island. And that island is in a lake. And that lake is on an island.
Yep.
It's an island on a lake in an island on a lake on an island.
It's Tadukan,
Oh my
but with
goodness.
lakes and islands.
It is in northern Philippines. I can show you guys a photo. We can post it. But there is a building on the
I'll pop
island.
up the photo now.
And the island is like 10 meters across.
Little baby.
Little baby island.
When is something an island and not just a bit of rock sticking out of the lake?
So then how big is... This is like more like a puddle.
The lake?
Yeah.
No, the lake is like a couple 100 meters across.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then has
But the 10
little
meter island,
So
there's no lake on that
it's a
island.
volcano, basically. the larger.
Is it a lake? Is it an island? Is it a volcano? Make up your mind, man.
What's
So there's an
going on?
island, then there is a lake on that island, and then in that lake is a volcano, which is an island, and then in the top of the volcano, which is the crater, it's big enough that that's
There is
a
a
lake.
lake.
And then on top of that, there's an island.
This little rock.
Wow.
So my favorite body of water is
Yeah.
the small boy
What
of the
was
lakes.
God thinking?
He wasn't.
That's
It's probably just like lol. He was probably just like
cool
a bit bored with just normal
natural
bodies
occurrence.
of water. Yeah.
That's so cool. Like
Yeah.
He finished making the Pacific Ocean, finished making the
Yeah.
bathtub, was like, let's shake it up a little bit.
finished making the
Making the bathtub.
Yeah.
Finished making soups.
And it was good.
It was good.
If the volcano was warm, would that lake be a soup?
No, gosh. Take fun activity to do with your life group, your small group,
It's just
is grab your soup spoons and head to the nearest body of water and share some communal soup.
And blowtorch the point that you're
Yeah.
eating.
Grab your
and then it's
blowtorches,
soup, so you can
grab-
cook the water.
Grab your,
good.
Hey, Lachie, can you cook us some water after this for some tea?
I can cook you some water.
Okay.
delicious.
Well, that's things we like, everybody. Hope you like some of the things that we like, and tell us what things you like if you didn't like the things that we like.
And
Anything
like
else?
this video.
And hopefully one of the things you like is this video on YouTube or on Spotify. We're going to have, I think, one more episode before we take a break for the year. It'll be our Christmas episode, so lots of fun Christmas things.
I don't know what that was.
Are you excited for Christmas, Sarah?
I am.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
It's my birthday as
We
well.
didn't ask for any more
Wow.
information.
No,
but
I'll be giving you some.
Name me, other than your
Birthday.
birthday, the one thing you're most excited for about Christmas.
A little bit of time off.
To be honest, just a big fat holiday.
Bit of time off, yeah.
leave from work.
Lachie,
Yeah.
thing you're most excited for about Christmas?
Probably Sarah's birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks
okay.
so much. Yeah.
And I would go with Jesus' birthday.
Wow.
Thanks so much for watching and listening to the Crossway podcast. We will see you next time. Merry Christmas.
See you then. Merry Christmas so early.
Just
in case.
in case. Bye.